Welcome to the next of our study of women of the Bible. Today we're returning to the Old Testament and to the book of 2 Kings. The first lady that we're looking at is a younger girl, that of Naaman's maidservant. Probably not yet in her teens when she was captured and taken to Syria during the reign of Ahab's son Joram, a time when Israel was constantly invaded by surrounding nations. Although living in a foreign land and serving people who may have killed her family, she demonstrated a sincere desire to serve her master well. Matthew 5:44 talks about this, offering her service as to the Lord and not to men. Ephesians 6 verses 5 to 8. This Hebrew child had obviously been taught that God's hand was on her life. Though in the midst of a pagan setting, she was securely committed to God as a God of mercy. This young girl determined to reveal the superiority of Israel's God over the pagan gods of Syria, even in an atmosphere of war and oppression. She exercised her own simple faith and testified to God's power to heal leprosy, which resulted not only in the saving of her master's life, but also in his introduction to the power of the God of Israel. Her persevering testimony led Naaman to submerge his pride and make the decision to put his faith in the God of Israel. This young captive maid shows the capacity of even a young child to remember and obey wholeheartedly God's commands in difficult circumstances. Daniel chapter 1 and verses 3 to 20 offers something similar. Though seemingly a minor character in Israel's history, she became an effective channel for one of the most significant miracles in the Old Testament. The second lady that we're looking at is at the far opposite end of this scale. This is Athaliah. She was the daughter of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. Jezebel we looked at a couple weeks ago, and the granddaughter of Omri. You can read the lineage in 2 Kings chapter 8 and verses 18 to 26. She was born into an atmosphere that completely denied the one true God. She married Jehoram, the firstborn of Judah's godly king Jehoshaphat. Jehoram had allied himself with Israel for political reasons. 2 Chronicles chapter 22 and verse 5. Just as her mother had done, Athaliah promoted Baal worship and led both the people of Judah and her husband away from the Lord. 2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 6. Jehoram died prematurely at age 40. 2 Chronicles chapter 21 verses 18 to 20. Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram and Athaliah, became king, and his mother continued her evil influence. 2 Chronicles chapter 22 and verse 3. Following the deaths of her sons at the hands of the Philistines and the Arabians, Athaliah murdered even her own grandsons, who were the legitimate heirs to the throne. See 2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 17. Gaining the throne for herself, Athaliah then reigned for 6 years as an illegitimate occupant of the royal seat, since she had not been born into the lineage of David. she carried on the idolatrous traditions in which she was reared. Judah had never had a ruler who was not a descendant of David. The Levite priests supported Davidic kingship. When they led a rebellion against this northern usurper, the people followed willingly. See 2 Kings chapter 11 and verses 13 to 20. Athaliah was killed dishonorably, like the other members of Ahab's family, at the horse's gate. Her wickedness stains the pages of Israel's history, and this queen stands as a sobering reminder of the escalation of evil influence that can work in the heart of all rebellious people who determine to go their own way, rejecting God and grasping for one's own power. 2 Chronicles chapter 22 and verse 3, verse 10, 2 Chronicles 24 and verse 7. Thanks very much.